All right. Hello, and welcome to the Nightmare Field podcast. I'm Reese, and as always, being joined by Hagbard Sully.
Hello, everyone.
That's a classic. We should start watching more Pacific.
Oh, no shit. I just want to get him saying my name as part of my intro at some point. That'll be good.
There's some YouTuber named Hagbard Sully. Sounds like he was saying saline.
Yeah. I've actually got a
Hagbard
split
Celine.
now where about 50% of people call me Hagbard and 50% of people call me Celine, depending on where I am at any time.
Hagbeard.
Hagbeard.
Hey, anyway, what's been up, Hagbeard?
Not a whole lot. Anything new and exciting in your life?
Oh, there's always stuff. There's always stuff going down.
Yeah.
But no, the show's just trucking along. We have a couple guests coming up that are interesting. People should tune in tomorrow at, I'm trying to remember the time, 11 a.m. tomorrow at Mountain Time. We're going to have Tyler Preston on the show. And we are in the works of getting the Satirician on the show, if you know that guy.
Oh, really? That ought to be fun.
Yeah, so there's some of those people coming up, but we're just doing the show, just us this time. Although last show with Spinosaurus Kin was fucking awesome.
Yes, it was.
That was a really good stream. But I guess we're just gonna have to top it, just the two of us.
Yeah, we're just going to have to deal with it. I mean, that's just how it is
we're
today.
just gonna have to truck along.
You know how it is. Soldier on.
Soldiers. Yeah, we're gonna do this. What is the future for women in Islam? This is a clip. I took it out of a clip. It was some summit. Ayaan Hirsi Ali was there.
But can I just put in a question? Sure. The question is,
This is gonna be the most brilliant argument you've ever heard.
Of course it is.
It's going to be amazing.
the question, because we're on limited time, is how do you deal as a state with countries like Saudi Arabia? There has been a great deal of skepticism about the United States not being tough enough on the rights of women,
Right.
whereas in Afghanistan and Iraq, the rights of women have almost been used as one of the contexts for military intervention.
When?
Yeah,
When?
the source for that.
When?
We did not invade any of those countries because they were treating women badly.
You give me one goddamn example when that was used as a talking point immediately, because that is ridiculous. It was never, ever, ever about the women's. That was never used as an example.
the women's. Oh, that's just such a crazy worldview.
Holy shit, I've never even
It is.
heard that worldview. That's how crazy it is. And I look for
Yes.
conspiracy theories.
It's so out there, and this is being presented to an audience. Like, these are supposed experts.
Terrifying.
So one of the things that was very important for me was the idea of diversity of Islam. The second was Muslims and Muslim majority countries and Muslims and other minorities. And
What's really important is the diversity of Islam, which is a really complex way of saying not all Muslims.
Yeah. I mean, that comes up in a lot of subjects. Like, oh, you can't criticize this group because it's so diverse. It's like, actually, if we break it down, I can criticize
Each portion.
criticize individual groups, and then we just put them all under this umbrella.
Exactly.
Like, it's not some like invincibility shield. It's just like an extra second of bullshit for you to go, oh, okay, I guess the Sunnis and the Shia are bullshit in their own special way.
Yes, fuck one of those groups slightly less than the other, but fuck both of those groups. I don't know why this is complicated.
What about the Sufis, Hagbard? They never hurt a fly.
Yeah, the Sufis are fine. Like I said, they're good people.
They're just
But
crazy.
again, to say that they're not Muslim is a little bit disingenuous because they do worship Allah. So,
Allah!
third, and this is so important, there are 1 billion Muslims under the age of 30 around the world. And this is what is actually the crux of the issue.
so you arguing for a eugenics program here? What's your point? I mean, it's not a good thing.
This is another argument that comes up a lot too. Like, oh, you can't criticize because it's over 1 billion people. It's like, yeah, over 1 billion people are capable of being wrong.
Yeah, nothing's
Over 1
worse
billion
than. I mean,
people are
that's
capable of being immoral.
yeah, that's an appeal to what, ad populum? What are you trying to do? Just say because there's a billion
Yes.
people, don't criticize it? Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
For them, It is critical that we understand that we can't politicize their populations. You heard woman after woman on the stages yesterday and today talk about the difference between a nation state and the people within those cultures.
Okay. So let me get this straight. You are happy to separate the people of Iraq from the Iraqi government and the people of Saudi Arabia from the Saudi Arabian government, but American intervention is the Americans' fault.
Yes, that they do. Wow, it's an interesting bit of hypocrisy. Yeah, I suppose we can make a distinction between the Saudi Arabian people and the Saudi Arabian government, but this in no way makes the people look any better. In fact, it would make them look worse if the government is not enforcing these ideas on them. No, the people in Saudi Arabia just think this. These are just their thoughts.
Exactly.
It actually does reflect more poorly on the population.
I agree.
And so when you pick apart what a country like the United States is doing vis-a-vis, a Saudi or a Qatar or an India or a Pakistan, whatever that country might be, we have a relationship between us and those countries based on a lot of different things. But the populations matter. And what I want to really say about this panel and about the way we're framing Islam globally is that we have to understand that with the context of, you brought up the Islamic State and other non-state actors that use the name of Islam.
So now we're separating between Islamic states and the Islamic State. How much further can we dissect this before it becomes irrelevant?
I like that too. They're like, oh, they're just using the name of Islam. They always want to just slip that in there. Basically, if they're doing something good, they're true Muslims. If they're doing something that I arbitrarily think is bad, they can't be true Muslims because that reflects badly on me. That reflects badly on my identity.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's really what it is. It's their identity. That's what's scary about it.
Yes. I mean, these are like women, modern women in the first world, trying to spread this, trying to perpetuate this, trying to throw up a fog cloud. Look, guys, there's no problem. There's no problem with the way that Islam treats women. It's just perfectly fine. It's actually you who has the problem. You are the bigot for even wanting to discuss this.
Yep. You hear that a lot. That happens in way too many subjects.
Oh, it's shameful.
It is.
For their nefarious means, separate that out. The ideology of an us and them that they're using and manipulating the religion to do is obviously not Islam. But
they're not manipulating the religion. The us versus them mentality is built into all the Abrahamic religions, up to and including Islam. Why can I say it about Christians? I can say it about even the old Jews, but you can't say it about this now. You can't say it about Islam.
I don't know.
What else does the word kafir mean?
It really can't mean anything else. It's so strange. They want to act like the morality of these religions is deep and nuanced, but it's such black and white, good versus evil bullshit.
What is the point of the word ummah if not to create an us? That's what the point of the word ummah is. It means those of the faith. We in this country, it is a nation of Islam that is spoken word. As soon as you become a Muslim, you are part of the Ummah, which is the nation of Islam.
We talked about this on the last show. We watched that Merciful Servant video. A lot of those Islamic laws, there's a double standard when it's applied to Muslims and infidels.
Of course.
Because they treat their own like a hive mind collective, and anyone outside of that is the enemy.
the second piece is the women part. And all over the world, the kinds of young people who are pushing back against that ideology must be brought forward. And that's the message I want to say today.
Okay, now.
Wait. How did that have anything to do with women? Just that statement. Seriously, how did that have anything to do with women?
It just randomly went to women because we need to connect this to the theme of the conference, I suppose.
But I mean, even her following statement had no bearing on women. Oh, I caught her in a perfect derp eye.
Ugh.
She looks like
That's her
she's
when she
full
wakes up.
retard there.
Yeah, it's strange, and I mean, like, you could say, I guess her point is young people are pushing back against, like, this sexist ideology in Islam. It's like, I don't know, do you see that? I don't really see any big evidence to support that.
Well, there's always been pushback. It's every young population under every rule has always pushed back, even all throughout. That's the point of the enforcement laws. That's the point of enforcement laws. If young people raised in the system didn't rebel against it, why would you need to have purity and enforcement laws of these religious areas? I mean, really.
Sure.
If it was just a naturally occurrent thing. It's not. These people are delusional in thinking that the system breaks down.
I think a lot of it is self-perpetuating, because you have these women, modern women, in 21st century women in the first world. They are not under, like, any direct threat or anything, and here they continue to push for it.
No, I mean, it looks like she's intentionally made herself uncomfortable with that giant necklace.
That is a strange necklace.
It's massive. That can't be comfortable. Oh, well, look, we stopped just in time to not
But anyway,
let it
we
loop.
could we can move on, I guess.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll get I think I have some more from that thing, and I'll play those in the future. What to do? Oh God. We're gonna do our old friend Hagbard. We're gonna do everyone should be a feminist.
Why would we do this to ourselves?
Hey,
Yep.
comrades. I believe in gender equality.
Let's start that over, really. Look at that face. That's the neutral. This is neutral. This is before he's turned on acting. I don't know why you'd even leave these frames in.
Like, what's up with his eyes? What's that situation? Looks like
They're just
I don't know.
They're just vacant. It's fine. I love the look at the bed. Oh God, look at the bed. Oh wow.
Is what in the? I hate seeing people's bedrooms in videos. I know we've talked about that. It's such a pet peeve. And the nose ring situation.
Yep.
He's got bad teeth too.
Let's
We're
hear
totally
the
out on him
let's
at
hear
this
this
point.
let's hear this intro. I love this one.
Hey, comrades.
Hey comrades. my fellow comrades in arms. We will fight the
comrades.
capitalists. We will fight the capitalists.
Oh, he says this. He says it non-ironically. He says it with a straight face, just so nonchalant. Just, hey, comrades, how are you doing?
Yeah, well, he knows his audience. He's calling them immediately.
I believe in gender equality.
Okay.
And that makes me a feminist.
You see, that's a leap. That was an unnecessary and immediate leap.
I love that too. Like, I believe in gender equality. Therefore, I need a label.
Yeah,
which
specifically feminism.
Which assumes that people who believe in gender equality are the minority.
Yeah, which is kind of laughable.
Yeah.
There's been a false argument in the media in the past that seemed to suggest that to be a feminist was to believe that women should be put ahead of men.
Well, no, it means women need to be advantaged because they have been disadvantaged in the past, which means that men must be inherently disadvantaged to allow this to occur. It's not difficult logic. And I've got a joint in my hand. I mean, come on, dude.
He's kind of behind the times. He's making these arguments like we haven't heard them before.
Keep up, bruv.
But that's a lie. Feminism is the movement for gender equality. There can be some debate over whether that terminology, that label, is an effective one. But I think
What?
it comes out of the fact that in the past, women were viewed as the oppressed gender.
Yeah, okay, you actually have just shot your own idea in the face. They were viewed as the oppressed gender. Yes, that has been the narrative, correct.
It's just, it's so, I can't even follow this. It's just gibberish at this point.
I say, let me explain
Wow.
history. For about 10,000 years, humans were oppressed. By nature, by big scary animals, by governments that gave no fuck about them. For 200 years, it's arguable that men held a standard over women. And then in the West, that collapsed. You're talking about you're obsessing in the same way that black Americans do about slavery, about the entire gender of women.
Yes, he's basically, it's coddling. It's babying women, like, oh, look how bad you poor women's have it.
Yeah, and it's shocking
I'm
that he would
here to
have that.
defend you.
Yeah, it's shocking this beta guy would have that impulse.
By the way, Hagbard, the connection between us is terrible.
Well, you're coming in loud and clear, and I'm the one broadcasting, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm not sure what to do about it. It is kind of interfering with the show a little bit.
Yeah?
It's making it a little hard to follow.
Fair enough.
So I don't know. Would you like to maybe take a small little break? Maybe play some music or something. We can figure that out.
We can do something real quick. Let me
Yeah.
see
Sorry, guys. I kind of want to be able to contribute to this shit. That would be nice.
All right.
Oh, we have to entertain the audience. Da 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 da. Yeah, that'll probably help. Da 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 da.
All right. Is that better?
That is sounding better. We'll take it.
All
You know,
right,
and that
fuck
means
it.
I don't have to see his face in his
In
clear
quite that clear an
resolution.
image, right?
That's fine. I mean, it's already such a close up. I'm seeing way too many pores already. I'm gonna have nightmares. That is all. And oh my god, at that point, either hide the stash and grow it for a couple more months, or just shave it off. I hate it. I hate like the faux pedo stash look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shave
It's
that
unnecessary.
which is completely accurate because men have dominated in the past and continue to dominate in the present. But
Luckily, that doesn't feed your ego, which is greatly needed.
Oh yeah, this guy.
We're talking pure
He needs
psychologically
ego.
here. I mean, he needs to think that because, you know, he needs to know that he's just going to bend over now. It's fine.
Oh yes. Well, that's the Soviet way. Come on. Ballpark.
the fight for gender equality isn't just one that benefits women, it benefits everyone wherever they sit on the gender spectrum. Women are obviously victims of our society in the sense that
Obviously,
they get
huh?
paid less for the same work as men.
Okay. I'm not going to
moron.
answer that. We're just going to say check. Yep.
We
just
should be
check.
playing bingo at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it is kind of bingo. We're going to check that one off.
Okay, yeah, the
They
wage gap
are often
check.
pushed into low-paying work and care work.
You pushed into. No, they prefer. Trust me.
That's so interesting too. Interesting language, Paris. Who exactly is pushing them?
Nobody.
The
They
big mean
prefer.
patriarchy.
Yeah, they just prefer it. I don't know why that's a problem.
Well, see, this is part of this is.
We
part
can add
of
this to the drinking game. Yeah, we can add this when they try and say that society makes something happen, or they try and say that women are given less money instead of earn. That's a drink. That's definitely a
Yeah.
shot.
I wish I had alcohol.
It's
but no,
too
this
early.
this speaks to a bigger point, I think. Because these guys, they want to be like, oh, I'm the feminist male. I am so, look at how benevolent I am. White knight to the rescue. This guy and guys like this are sexist. They do not give women autonomy. Women are just these puppets. They get pulled around. Oh, go do this, woman. Go work this job.
And they
Go
honestly
get paid
believe
this
that.
much.
I mean, how do you otherwise, the only other explanation they ever have is you're socialized into it, which isn't just completely arbitrary saying. If that were the
That
case,
sounds like
there would
something
be.
I'd hear on InfoWars. Like,
Yeah, exactly. If that were the case, there would literally be almost no like female doctors or almost no female, women in positions. No, that's not how it is. It's just that less women choose to put themselves in that position. I frankly don't blame them. I mean, these are, most people like to think positions of power are fun when in reality they are an exchange. They're not an enjoyable thing.
yes, it's so shocking to me how little autonomy and power he gives women. The only way to think that
I
women
do.
in the first
I'm
world
sorry to
are-
say it again, but I've noticed it more and more. He is. I mean, he's in an attic room first and foremost. You can see the slant behind him. He's got like a writing desk over here with a little lamp, stark wood. He's got like a thin mattress pad. I mean, at least I'll give him 1 point for living the lifestyle. I mean, if you're gonna argue for communism or, extreme Soviet behavior, at least I will give him the credit of living the lifestyle. because this is what everyone would have.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he's doing that.
Sure.
At least he's not a champagne socialist. There's nothing worse in my mind.
Instead of having the opportunities to reach the same kind of levels in executive management or to pursue.
If they are not given those opportunities, please explain to me how Carly Fiorina exists.
That's interesting. I think what we're inferring that is, given opportunities, like even have the ability to do it. But I think to people like him, it means just be given the job because as like options.
Yeah, exactly.
Here you go, unqualified person, have this job.
Exactly. And I mean, Carly Fiorina is a qualified person. She I mean, people complain that she fired people, but I mean, fuck, who hasn't made that business decision? Let's be serious.
Most of the people who say that voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, let's be serious about that. I mean, fucking people cut jobs. That's not like a terrible... I mean, it's a terrible thing. It's awful for the people that lost their jobs, but it's an unfortunate reality of the business world that is why I'm a partial socialist myself. Because I understand that as technology starts to increase, the only jobs that are going to be left are going to be things like engineer to help keep machines running. So we're going to have to look forward to a future where we have an excess labor force. And that should be considered a good thing. That should be considered a good thing, which is why all my right friends call me a lefty, a fucking utopian lefty, because I understand that eventually science does things as it has in the last 100 years. I mean, let's just say we would all have different jobs right now if we still manufactured cars the way they were initially manufactured, instead of having welding machines run them through automated assembly lines. Now 3 guys operate that plant instead of the 400 it once took.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... I mean, you're going to be called
and this is good. That's progress.
It's inevitable to be called left-leaning if you accept science or it's how it can help you in any way, so it's whatever.
Careers that require high qualifications that are considered to be traditionally men's work. Obviously, some of those barriers are being...
Oh, no. Those have been open to women for a long time. That's why they dominate in the universities. That's why they're all over the place when it comes to these other careers. If you want to talk about men's work that women still don't want to do, there's labor.
Yeah, I've never heard a single feminist bring that up.
Ever. They never will.
Because it's a crap job.
Correct.
And we all acknowledge it's a crap job.
You want positions of power. That's what you want. Not even good paying position. My dad makes $75,000 a year or something. Fuck, he works a shit labor job because he stayed there long enough. He gets paid a lot now. That's how this works.
It's too hard, Hagbard. How dare you? How dare you do that to women?
He works with women, for the record.
Being broken down now, which is a great thing, but there are still issues that exist, and the equality isn't there. And then there are larger...
No, the equality of outcome will never be there.
I love equality of outcome. The equality... I love how he can just say that. Like, you know what? I have provided no evidence, but equality just has not been reached.
Nope.
It just hasn't. Things are not equal.
0 equality attained.
That's called projection, dude. That is called you view men and women differently, and the rest of us don't.
Yeah. Trust me, I've had female bosses most of my life.
Issues around whether women can control their bodies, access birth control.
Okay, now we're doing what happened to poor Sargon in his last debate. No. General issues that we've all already agreed upon are not currently up for serious debate. Most of those people are even considered extreme by their own party. Hell, the new right in America has no problem with most of these things. It's the old dying religious right that have a problem with these things.
Sure. I guess, I don't know, there's a couple of the young guys who are still on that bandwagon.
Yeah,
but it's really whatever.
We've got a lunatic standing. The other lunatics didn't even want to be with the young lunatic, remember? We saw him. Standing outside the abortion clinic. Even the other right-wing Christians were like, please go away, Briar.
Oh, God. That was awesome. Yeah, so... And here's the thing, like, let's say, just crazy hypothetical, Roe versus Wade was overturned.
Yeah.
Let's say that. Like, that's never going to happen, but it could happen if Republicans took over everything. That maybe, but it's still a long shot. okay, that happens, then maybe I could advocate for this. Maybe I could say, okay, women are lacking some rights. But once that's rectified, then it's gone.
Yeah, well, even then, in this situation, we need to seriously have a discussion about where the men's rights there are, because that's the debate once you bring abortion into it.
Sure. And they never discuss that.
It would be very, very, very fun. And no, real quick before I go on, Sargon is just, he doesn't want a debate. He wanted a conversation. A formal debate is never going to be his style. Ever. It's just not. It's really not my style. I would never have entered into a formal debate with a doctoral candidate. That's not. Nope. No, thank you. I've sat in on doctoral theses. Nope. I mean, it just isn't. It isn't going to work. It is never going to come off as you looking better. She just is always going to be more prepared in that manner, because that's what she does basically for a living, for all intents and purposes. So. I mean, I saw most of it, and I'm not saying he lost, but I'm saying that arguing with a doctoral thesis candidate is never going to look good. Although they poisoned the well at the beginning, which infuriated me. Starting off by giving her a list of fucking, a list of credentials that even were subpar impressive. Like graduating from the University of Wisconsin at Oshkosh. Like, okay, cool. And then she went overseas. Where'd she go? Oxford? No, Essex. Like, it was underwhelming credentials, and then and then this YouTuber. I mean, it was hideous. The 55 or so minutes I managed to get through before this hangout, it was hideous.
Yeah, no, I'm not incredibly interested in catching it myself.
No, it was. I mean, he did as well as he could, and I'm not discounting Sargon. He just wanted to have a discussion, an honest discussion about it, and she just wanted to fucking defend her position without actually being honest about it.
That seems to be how it mostly works out.
Yeah.
Abortions.
That's my rant.
And just make decisions about their lives. But the gender stereotypes that we've created also hurt men. They tell men that they need to be masculine. They can't show their emotions. They need to look.
It's always these guys, isn't it?
Oh, he looks like he's about to cry.
Yeah, it's always these guys, isn't it, man?
I wanna. Who's saying that? Like, men cry all the time. Men get emotional.
Hell, I argue for you to go back throughout all of Western literature and find one example of a hero not weeping. That's a norm.
Even Jesus wept.
That's a norm in Western stereotypes for even strong men. Even old Greek heroes wept. I mean, come the fuck on, dude. Men have always been allowed to express their emotions, they just do it differently. I don't know why these people always... oh, wait, I forgot. It's because you're probably were a bit of a crybaby growing up, so...
Like, there's a difference, and I can't believe we're explaining this, but there's a difference between being, like, somewhat emotional and being a bitch.
And it looks like you were probably the latter, sir.
Yeah, like, you can still get emotional. You don't have to be, like, this stone-faced monster. But, like, this face really just says it all. Oh.
A certain way, and in a sense not really care about how they look. And even though there are a lot of masculine homosexual men, that's generally seen as something that doesn't fit into the masculine identity.
And it's always stereotypes from like the 1970s and 1980s and shit. I mean, it's never an acknowledgement that we've moved well beyond that. I mean, the most representations of gay men in modern culture aren't effeminate, and full of faggotry. They're just not. I mean, even Milo's an exception at this point. I mean, we've got like Dave Rubin. What's the stand-up comedian that no one would have ever guessed? Todd Glass. No one ever guessed Todd Glass was gay, but no one cared once he came out. No one was like, well, he's an odd gay. You're like, why do you have to use old stereotypes? It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, this really, to me, is the definition of regression. Like, this is us pulling back the cultural conversation a couple decades. Like, the rest of us moved on.
And pretending like there was no such thing as a fucking 90s man. I mean, that's what they used to be called when it happened. They were known as 90s men, the guys with the ponytails and the goatees, and they were soft-spoken and gentle, and I mean, that was the 90s man. We already did this, dude. This isn't fucking new.
It's just trying to drag us back to a pointless conversation that we already had, and the rest of us don't view homosexuals and heterosexuals as like complete like polar opposites.
Exactly.
Like whatever. Yeah, it's probably like, yeah, it's my neighbor or it's my friends down the street. It's not. Oh my God, it's such projection.
And is rejected in some sense by the dominant heterosexual male society. And then if we consider people who fall elsewhere on the gender spectrum, particularly trans people, they lack even basic protections that men and women can expect.
Here's an interesting point.
How?
Okay, I want you to bear with me for a second, because you could probably point to a couple, and I'm very much emphasizing that, a couple points that trans people are disadvantaged. However, why are we talking about trans people? That has nothing to do with feminism. This is a complete emotional appeal. Look, this one group might have a couple problems, therefore support feminism.
Well, I struggle to, when people say that they're like, there's no legal protections and all these other things, with a group of people that are on the hate crime list. If you commit an act of violence against someone who is transsexual, the chances of you being charged with a hate crime go through the roof. Just like if you commit an act of violence against a black man as a white man, the chances of hate crime go through the roof. If they can find anything on you that you've ever said on your social media that's questionable, anything, they'll call that a hate crime. I've seen it happen.
Sure, and that does happen.
So
and
it's difficult for me to take it seriously. I mean, I understand that there are other times when it's like, oh yeah, well, they don't search for trans people that were prostitutes. Listen, I'm sorry to tell you this, but they don't search for prostitutes. I mean, you need to really deal with that issue as a whole and not say it has anything to do with the person being transgendered. It doesn't. They just don't search for hookers. I mean, it sounds bad, but they just don't. I mean, they don't have time to search for people that put themselves in that level of danger openly.
Yeah, that is true. And the things I was referring to, the trans panic laws have been eroded. They're falling pretty quickly. Most of the modern cases where that's come up, it has not been acknowledged.
They were
as
political.
A legitimate defense.
They were political stances these people were taking because elections are coming up.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
All. It's nothing
but I mean,
more.
really, all of this conversation we just had was completely pointless, because what do trans people have to do with feminism?
According to some feminists, abso-fucking-lutely nothing, because they've never had to deal with real women's issues.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about Jermaine Greer.
Yeah, we're talking about TERFs.
Oh, my.
Trans exclusionary reactionist feminism.
Yeah, they suck, too.
Stick it to the fake men.
They were raised as men. They never had to face true oppression. Now they just want to appropriate our oppression.
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah, I think that's enough of him.
I can
He
take
sucks.
no more.
He is the worst.
Goodbye.
Oh boy. Wow. We have a lot of horrible bullshit. I think that we should do blaming the victim, Hagbard.
Yay.
This is I don't even know how to explain this. We're just going to watch it.
Today I'd like to discuss with you the phenomenon that we call blaming the victim.
Oh, this accent.
I can't
why?
Professor Dr. Mark Green.
Yeah, this is one of those. Let's check this point off here, because this is proof that sometimes people's names are just hard to pronounce, even and especially white people's names. Because look at that dude's name.
Mark Groen Hugeson.
Mark Groenhuisen. Mark Groenhuisen.
Hugeson.
Da from the land of the fjords.
Oh my god. So racist, Hagbard.
And as a starting point, I have to point out that the consequences, the adverse effects of crime are usually much more severe than the victim would have anticipated. And the victim...
Oh, this guy's like microphone settings are almost ASMR levels high.
Oh look, he's got the little lavalier Hagbard.
Therefore,
he's got
would expect some sympathy and some empathy by the bystanders and by family and by officials running the criminal justice system. But The opposite
no.
is quite often the case.
I mean, what's the difference between, okay, empathy, like, yeah, I feel bad for you if this actually happened, and we're here for you, whatever you need, but at the same time, I mean, it's such emotional bribery in the criminal investigation.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
And in actual reality, many victims are faced with a lot of questions by the authorities, and these questions are perceived to be quite hostile by the victim, because the nature of the question is to allocate blame for the victimization.
This again.
Those questions are so hostile.
Fucking this again.
Yep, it will never die.
Jesus.
Hagbard, those questions are really hostile.
Let's see if he gives any good examples. I want to see if he can think of any, because not only that, but understand social workers are in the room when the police question a sexual assault victim. I've seen this too, so.
Part of the victim. So the standard example, of course, is the rape victim reporting the crime, and the officer taking down the report, asking the woman, well, why were you on the street late that night? Or why were you dressed so scarcely? And now that's an
Well, those are his examples.
They always give those examples, and I've never actually heard a cop say the second one. And the first one is a completely valid question that you would ask a man who had just gotten robbed. If I had just gotten robbed at knife point at 2:30 in the morning in a bad part of town, the first question the cop would have for me is, what were you doing there? I mean, sir, you probably shouldn't have been on the street that late at night, least of all in a known poor part of town. What were you doing? And at that point, it could actually be perceived, it could be perceived that he's accusing me of being a drug user, or that I was out, committing nefarious acts, when in reality, I'm a good boy who did do nothing, who was coming home from, his late night job at the 7-Eleven. But of course, I could perceive that if I were, let's say, of a minority status, as being a racist question. Do you understand how stupid these things are? It's a valid
it's
fucking
also
question.
Subjective. Yeah, that's an interesting point too. We pointed out even the what were you wearing? That could sometimes, and it often is perceived as, oh my god, how offensive. But I mean, understand. Yeah, what were you wearing? Let's say there was like security footage. That's going to help us track you better. What was the perpetrator wearing?
Exactly.
The lead example, but the same thing happens in all kinds of crime, where the officials actually seek factors which put the blame for the victimization on the victim. And why is that? We've tried to understand that. And it is because all of us, including criminal justice officials, try to believe in a just world. And
Really? You really believe that you really believe that most people who have worked criminal justice for any significant length of time over 18 months believes in a just world?
Wow.
Listen, these guys are pretty upfront about not believing in a just world. I've never...
Yeah,
no, they'll blame you. I've absolutely understand. I've been blamed for my own crimes against me. No problem. And he was fucking right. He was fucking right. I probably should have locked my car door. He was right. What? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's just called giving someone advice. If you were stupid enough to do it once, I mean, there's a reason we invented these things. Because we don't live in a just world. You're mistaking the motivation here, dude. He knows the world's not just. Trust me.
Yeah, and then that could be perceived as, oh my god, victim blaming. You're not coming down hard on the guy who actually robbed your car. It's like, well, no, he is, but they understand that that's going to happen regardless.
Yes. Yeah, they're actually overwhelmingly pragmatic.
I don't understand why this doesn't get past these people. Bad things happen in the world all the time. Right now, a million bad things are happening.
Yeah, as we speak.
Yeah, it's not just this land of candy and sugar and wonderfulness.
I think you want the world to be more just than it is, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of I don't know. It's just a lot of idealism, and that's scary because that means they're not acknowledging reality.
Yeah. Ever.
In a just world, people who behave in a normal way will not be subject to crime. So if someone is victimized, there must be, and they are trying to look for some way of attributing the crime to the victim. And as long as we, as researchers,
I don't see that. I've never seen that in the criminal justice system, seriously.
Well, the problem with this is it's based on his own faulty perception of this. Like, those questions, it's you and people like you who are extremely sensitive, who are perceiving them to be hostile.
Well, and
when
beyond
in fact,
that,
they're
they're not.
investigative questions.
Yeah, you need to put together the narrative. That is part of... I thought he studied investigative journalism. I thought he would know this.
Failed.
I think he would know that part of investigative journalism or investigative practice is crafting narrative. You have to be able to set up... I mean, otherwise it's just a robbery happened. What happened? Well, he robbed her. Where? We can't ask that. What time was it? Do not ask that. What were they wearing so we can see footage? Don't... Come on, man. You know that's disavowed. I mean, what do you want to happen here? We have to know the story. We kind of do. That's...
Well, I mean, we already know his end goal because he was saying at the beginning, we need to show the victim empathy. So as an investigative journalist, he's already assumed that the person
or a
who
criminal
claimed to be a
investigator.
victim is a
That's what
victim.
this is really about. I misspoke. This is criminal investigation. That's a problem.
Yeah,
You can't have that.
he's already assumed that the victim's story is true, and that anything the supposed victim says is true. That's his narrative.
Yeah.
as we are aware of this psychological mechanism of self-defense in order to preserve your own peace of mind, then we can actually change our behavior and show much more understanding and much more empathy for the victims who deserve our sympathy, who deserve our respect.
Oh
Okay,
no,
fuck that. Moving right along.
that's just craziness.
Just wow.
All right. Okay. Oh, this is something I wanted to do. So the one that was right to the left of that one.
This one?
And I understand that Will Ferrell has dropped out of playing Ronald Reagan, I guess. But this is a Fox News clip. And
All
the
right,
reactions
Will Ferrell
are
playing the
quite
late President
funny.
Bush. Funny stuff.
Oh,
Jesus.
God. It's
Oh,
Cavuto.
Cavuto,
God.
coast to coast, because Fox never got out of the 90s.
Excuse me, a correction. It's Fox Business. This is when
I'm
they get
surprised there's
down-
not a ka-chow. Where's the, there's gotta be one of those 90s breaks, like, pa-chow, as it intros in, right?
Cavuto does sound like a very 90s name.
Cavuto coast to coast is, that's like a 90s radio program. It's ridiculous.
Cavuto, coast to coast. Yeah.
All right, Will Ferrell playing the last President Bush. Funny stuff. Even President Bush said it was funny stuff. But playing Ronald Reagan in the throes of an illness, dementia, Alzheimer's, I don't know. Joe.
Oh no!
Wait,
we
the
can't blaspheme holy Reagan.
But wait, he's gonna play Reagan having dementia? Is that the whole point? The whole point of this movie is like a comedy about Reagan being crazy?
I think. Well, obviously, there's going to be comedic elements because of Ferrell, but they're taking that away because it's set during was set during Reagan's second term, when he had been diagnosed. But it doesn't even really matter because this project, I guess Will Ferrell's out, but I'd already found this clip, so whatever.
Yeah,
But
it's still worth seeing.
Whether this is crossing the line, that's the plan at least, right? It's supposed to be Ronald Reagan in his second term. He's gotten his diagnosis, and they're rip-roaring away.
Yeah, and then they talk him into
All the
playing the president.
Right.
But see, there's a great fraternity sorority at SNL. You watch me dance.
Great fraternity sorority going.
What the hell? Who is this? I don't even know who this guy is.
Sometimes they just bring people on, and I'm like, I might as well be on the news at this point.
Yeah, in all seriousness.
This guy's hilarious. This is the most fence-sitting guy I've ever seen. You need to listen to the shit he's about to say.
Okay.
out of this, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Because you know how I feel about former President Ronald Reagan, one of the great guys, but Will Ferrell, one of the great humans on the planet, one of the most talented humans on the planet. But I wish they wouldn't go
You
there.
can't pick a side because Ronald Reagan, he's one of the great guys, but Will Ferrell, he's also one of the great guys too. Oh, where to
But
where to go on this?
we've lampooned almost every great leader in our history. You know he can't get a pass forever, right?
They've been holding out on it for a while. That is what happens. All presidents get mocked, even while they're in office.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever. It's part of free speech and free expression.
Thank you, Miss Parker. It's Joe Piscopo.
There, if they're really going to do that, that would just seem a little severe.
Is the thing? It's his second term. It feeds this suspicion that it is Alzheimer's. Were there signs of it in that second term? Doctors, neurologists say no.
Wait. They think the comedy, the whole purpose of it is to undermine the existence of Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. So I could see someone siding with, making a movie about Ronald Reagan and he has dementia. It might be a little inappropriate, but whatever. All comedies are inappropriate to certain degrees. But look at this. Look at just the scurrying around oh no, can't they're taking down Reagan. They're gonna undermine his legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I find that very weird. I really
because they
do.
view him as a religious figure. That's why.
I don't want him to be.
There's around.
Yeah, for real.
Reagan said no. He came out 5 years after he left office in 1994 when he wrote that famous letter.
But I met him later in the term, Ronald Reagan. That's what really kind of turned me around. I was a Democrat at the time. They invited me to the White House. I've told you that before. And I met that
Ronald
guy.
Reagan was a Democrat.
Oh.
before he became president. Oh my God.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan converted you with a handshake.
Because he was a great actor, so charismatic. Ronald Reagan, by today's standards, is not even a Republican.
No, and as an actor, he was only B-rate. That's the funniest part.
Yeah, he was
about it.
I love to actually, because I've investigated Ronald Reagan and all his bullshit, but just to listen to where they fabricated it is amazing. Just the exaggerations of he was this just towering figure. No, Ronald Reagan did so many horrible things.
Exactly.
Ronald Reagan made terrible choices. He was not some impervious god figure in American history. They try to make him like this Lincoln, and even Lincoln did bad shit too.
Mm-hmm.
And he was
he told me about that meeting.
Well, he was just as you see me, and he was clear-minded and great. So I didn't see.
But they're going to do this, and a lot of people I think will love it, because it's popular.
No, it's just listen. Will Ferrell's the best. Will could do anything. This guy's great. But you know what? It seems to me like an initiative.
He's like, listen, it's going to be a good movie. Will's an awesome guy. It's going to be fine. And it's just that's it.
I love it. He just can't take a stance. So what do you think about Ronald Reagan? Oh, I met Ronald Reagan, shook his hand. I was a lifelong Democrat. He turned me Republican. Oh, so what do you think about Will Ferrell playing him? Look, I'm sure it's gonna be fine, even if they make fun a little. Will's a good guy. He's one of the great guys. Will Ferrell, everybody.
Exactly.
From the left to this, I'm trying to dance out of this. Is not happening. But you know what? It's an initiative to take the great Ronald Reagan down. That's what this is about.
So you should be against it.
I should be against it. Well, I'm not going to speak against it, Tim. I can't believe when those guys write books.
Since you become
I'm
this big
Italian.
sensation with The Answer, radio host
awesome.
in 970, and the guy's a rock star. They love him everywhere. Every little
breakdown of a conversation.
Yeah, he's totally pissed, dude. He was mad.
It's like, why do you even bring this guy on if he's not going to take a stance?
For real.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that. Okay. So this is one that I had recommended to me. Let's do Trisha Hirschberger. That's on the top row.
Okay.
Trisha, how many nasty comments do you receive on a monthly?
Oh, God. Is this one of these?
Yeah, she is reacting to some creepy comments she got.
Yeah, so from what I'm getting, creep shaming is good, slut shaming is bad. Okay, let's continue. I forgot. Shaming is a woman's department. Men aren't allowed to shame people. So yeah.
Sure. I mean, well, you see, the thing is, men have all the power.
Yeah, women hold a moral high ground. So we have to remember that first and foremost, that if they feel something, it's just true.
One of the pillows is feminist killjoy.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the show, isn't it?
I think so. I thought it was creep shaming, but I guess that's
no. That's
just
the
there, too.
episode. This is like the series on the channel. It's called Feminist Killjoy, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
I didn't care to investigate because this is total shit.
Monthly basis.
I thought you were gonna ask daily.
It sounds like a lot.
That was
Anywhere
so
between
legit. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that was for sure real.
3 and 15 a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think
Between 3 and 15 a day.
Wow, that's so much hate.
Yeah, that doesn't sound super bad.
We get more than that sometimes.
I mean, I've gotten worse than that. I've gotten that on one video about, ironically, feminism.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that shit. Yeah, that you should be on creep shaming.
Yeah, I know. I've had 2 or 3 videos that went through that it was like I still get hate. I'm glad I posted that on my alternate account. I really am.
Oh, that video is still getting hate comments?
Oh, for sure. It's at almost 20,000 views now, and it still gets hate comments.
Oh my god, I haven't been there forever.
Oh yeah, both of them.
Wow.
Both of them still get hate comments. It's kind of amusing.
compels these losers to send these types of messages?
I think it's 100% insecurity and feeling the need to, like, someone somewhere pay attention to me. I'm going to say the most outlandish things so that someone pays attention to me. And it's like, I understand that your mom just needs to hug you more, but this is ridiculous.
Because you're paying attention. You are featuring their comments on this show.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I mean, in that case, what is Jessica Valenti? Really, what describe the behavior of Jessica Valenti other than that?
It's this girl, right? Or is it the girl hosting the show?
No, it's this girl, because she's got the little the nerd symbol on her neck. I don't remember what game or series it's from. I think it's Zelda, but she's got a video gaming thing on her neck. So I bet she's a cosplayer. I bet you're right. Holy shit.
Yeah, I guess they.
Horny men come to my videos and say pervy things when I dress up and pose in sexual manners. It's fucked up. It's totally fucked up.
Yeah, they'll act like I hate all this hate content I receive, but then they turn around and use it for their own content.
Okay, yeah, The Naked Truth is a vlog series where Trisha vlogs naked to be vulnerable and as open as possible.
Wow, I didn't even see those. Okay, we'll do more of those.
This is literally like slut shaming, like the people that do slut walks and they go out shirtless and then they're surprised when people stare at their tits. It's like,
She did a video nude and was surprised someone left a pervy comment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, again, someone pay attention. She does videos naked. And she's saying these guys are insecure and in need of attention.
Rob says it's a sperm target, not a necklace.
Fuck.
Ridiculous. Every day, millions of women get verbally bukkakied online.
Everyone drink that statement in.
Drink that bukkake.
Verbally bukkakied online.
I need to use that sometime. Like, next time
I'm never going to forget that. What do you mean I need to use that? So I'm never going to forget the phrase verbally bukkakied ever.
I'm going to use it. Like, next time I'm in a flame war, I'm going to be like, oh my god, quit verbally bukkakiing me.
This is verbal bukkake, okay? It's totally unnecessary.
Oh, verbal bukkake would be a great band name.
I don't need your warm man hate all over my face and breasts, okay?
This week, gaming guru Trisha Hirschberger shares her grossest messages and reveals
All right, bud. Okay, bud. Totally don't need you up there. That was a bit high.
Which loser will win?
Still too high. All right, friend.
Trish.
Bring you on down.
The golden douchebag.
There we go.
You're watching Creep Shaming with Nadia G.
Jesus Christ, that music was unbearable.
Okay, this comment is from Rohan Sharma, who says, "Hey Trisha, we all know you are very beautiful and you were a late bloomer."
So you've admitted that this is an insecurity thing before.
Yeah, but she was saying that it was the people leaving comments that were insecure. This is clearly insecurity too, to like come on this show and be like, look at all the horrible comments I got.
Well, I mean, this is not insecure. It's kind of sad. And if you actually read his name, he comes from a country where nude women are rare. So he's asking to see your nipples on a show where you say you're naked. He says he wants to see your naked stuff. This isn't offensive. You kind of put yourself there.
Yeah, I just realized that too. The show is called Naked Truth, so it is false advertising. Wow.
All he said is, I'd love to see your nipples. I've heard worse.
You have a wonderful pair of tits. Nothing offensive. The name of the show is also Naked Truth, so when will you show us your naked stuff? I mean, I would love to see your nipples. Just a request from Trisha's big fan. I mean, it's just a request to see my nipples. That's totally normal. Like,
I mean, that guy clearly, English was not
No,
that
that's what I'm saying. That guy is from a country that clearly doesn't see tits a lot. You're kind of advertising tits and titillating him. And then you're like, oh man, what a pervert. He wants to see me naked. What the fuck? Who would want to do... What kind of pervert would make that request? Holy shit. He didn't say, show me your tits, you dirty slut, so I can jack my hard dick. I mean, I've seen comments like that. I've had men leave me comments like that.
Yeah, this guy, like, you could tell he was kind of like, I don't know, kind of shy about it. It's almost like endearing in a cute way. Like, yeah, I'd like to see your nipples. Like, you can just tell, like, oh, this guy just needs some. Come on. Throw this
at the
guy a
drive-thru
bone.
at Burger King, and you're like, thank you so much for this Whopper. Also, I would love to see your nipples.
Those are totally the same context. Yeah, ordering fast food and you vlogging naked are totally equated. They are the same thing.
Did they change Burger King to like Nude King? Nude Burger.
Jesus.
No offense, I'm your big fan.
And what creeps me out the most is this late bloomer reference. It's so Silence of the Lambs-ish. Like it just...
Why? He is obviously legitimately a fan enough to have watched your videos and knows something about you, you fucking selfish bitch.
This other woman, this Nadia G, just has the most dead eyes I've ever seen.
Her face is oddly structured. She's got like an odd brow ridge thing and weirdly high cheekbones. She's got one of those faces that like you're like, there's no way this person's a fashion model, and then they put all the makeup and the fashion lights on and you're like, oh, you have to have those features. I see.
She looks like if you shaved her bald, she'd look like the creature from Splice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing.
She does
here.
look like her face could split in half, to be fair.
Just picture this guy like...
Yeah, her eyes are slightly too far apart.
Hagbard, she's wearing a Sarkeesian shirt.
She is.
Like sitting in his room wearing control top pantyhose as he sorts dandruff into little jars.
Titanium man.
Yeah, that's creepy. That also all came from you.
Yeah, that was 100% you, friends. That's
They extrapolated that from that guy asking to see her tits.
Yeah, that's how weird you have to be to want to see an already naked woman's tits, dude.
Yeah, you have to be Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. You have to be like, it puts the lotion on its skin.
For real. Holy fuck.
2 says, I'll Trish all over her Hirschburgers.
A bad, stupid joke. A very bad joke. It wasn't even offensive. It's just not funny. And if you took offense to it, you're a whiny bint.
I like it. This is included in like the creeps. This guy, what a creep.
Holy fuck.
I mildly suspect that you meant jizz instead of Trish, and you were probably
Really?
referring to my breasts when you said my last name. That's not
Wow. How smart.
This is why people think women are stupid.
There is that.
She thinks that was
Hagbard said it,
insightful.
not me.
She thinks that was insightful. You're an idiot.
When you said I'd Trish all over your Hirschburgers,
I can unpack that because I am super smart.
Did you mean you would jizz all over my tits?
I will pet you on your head because all you're good at doing apparently is being a cosplayer and nude streamer. So cool, good on you.
At least he gets points for creativity, and by points, I mean I hope he gets an incurable rash on his perineum.
Isn't that called herpes?
So that's what that is.
Nothing sadistic about that.
Daniel Smith says, I wonder if she would let me floss her sweaty ass cheeks with this.
Fuck.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Well done. Well done.
Oh god, that is just
10 out of 10, mate.
I want
Holy
us to
shit.
get that comment now.
Holy shit, 10 out of 10.
That comment wins the internet.
Holy shit.
Why are they sweaty?
One way
You were probably sweaty in one of your pictures, ma'am. This is a distinct possibility.
Oh god.
to guarantee you'll never be flossing anyone's ass cheeks, it's to say you want to floss their ass cheeks. Trust me, I know from experience. I once told a guy I wanted to give his prostate a root
Her
canal.
voice. Oh, her voice. God.
Well, I wanted to. She's like going for this faux Russian thing too. I don't know what's going on.
It really,
She
it's
wanted
got
to-
my spine up, dude. Like I'm literally cringing away when she talks.
She's very triggering. She says that she has experience because she once told a guy she wanted to give his prostate a root canal.
Jesus.
Actually,
This is what I want to hear about.
many disgusting comments to choose from, right? But who's gonna be the big winner
Wait. You have one better than the last one?
of the douche?
No, that's it. They had those three.
Wait, that's it?
That's it. Those were the best they could come up
Oh,
with.
get
for
the
this.
fuck out of here. We're done with that. Holy shit.
Oh,
Pitiful.
it is bad.
Fucking
it really
pitiful.
is. You know what? We're gonna go to something even worse, though. We're gonna do Atheist Logic 101 with my least favorite apologist of all
Sorry,
time.
can you explain the principle of absolute morality to me, please?
Oh my God!
Oh.
It's Sci-10.
Why are we in Pensacola?
Because we must. Because that's where he is. That's where he resides. That's where the Sci-10 man cave is.
Okay, do I have to explain it logically, Paul?
Well, that's just going back to flogging the dead horse. Can you explain it in your own words?
Yes, I can, but does it have to be logical?
What?
I'll be happy to discuss morality with you, Paul, but we don't have to talk about logic, but just yes or no, do my answers have to be logical?
We'd prefer they were, yes. Is this going to be a problem?
What he's getting at, and this is his stock argument, is basically you cannot understand logic without the existence of God.
Oh, lovely. Because
So
logic...
basically, if you do not adhere to the logic that God created, you cannot be moral, is the argument.
Okay.
That's why he's framing this in terms of logic, which is so hilariously ironic because he's one of the least logical people I've ever seen.
What's with these weird cuts?
Go on then. They can be logical.
It can be illogical? I'm sorry, I missed...
What format is he using that happens, where the whole screen freezes and the audio cuts? That's bizarre.
That is weird because the guy on the right in
Isn't in
England is
video.
just a still frame.
Yeah, he's just doing audio, so I'm not sure what format that is. It's weird.
that.
This isn't... sorry.
But look, they can overlap, but for some reason it wasn't before.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Whatever.
This is dancing around the issue. Are we going to talk about logic, or are we going to talk
We're
about
going to talk about morality, Paul, but in order to know how to have this discussion, I'd like to know if my answers have to be logical or not.
He just said go on.
Not according
Fuck
to your
me.
worldview.
He just wants to rub more salt.
Yeah,
in the
he
wound.
just said go on, for fuck's sake, dude. He said it can be illogical or whatever, go on. He just said that.
Yes.
I mean, this
Okay,
guy,
that's
this
fine.
guy
Okay.
is such.
Thank you.
He's a
He's
smarmy
such a-
cunt, is what he is. He's a smarmy cunt, and he makes
Yes.
me want to reach to the screen and smack him.
He loves the sound of his own voice. He loves to play word games, and he just wants to get one over on everyone, and it's infuriating.
He's the religious equivalent of a fedora atheist.
Like I've really held off on him because I legitimately hate this guy. Like the other people we play, like next to him, I love Kent Hovind. I love Ray Comfort. They're good guys. This guy's a cunt. This guy's an asshole.
Smarmy bastard.
Go on. What would you like to know?
Could you define what you understand absolute morality to be?
Absolute morality is based on the character of God. People often make the mistake that they say that it's based on God's commands, but it's not.
The character of God. So, I mean, I would just play at this point the, what Hitchens would say, or what not Hitchens, the other one. Anyway, what he would say to God if he met him today. Like, dude, the Old Testament God is a petty bastard. There's no way I would want to base my morality on the morality of that petty bastard.
Yeah, and I think it's such a weird argument for Seitan Bruggencate to make, because it's like, base it on the character of God. God, that's up for interpretation also, and God does things that he forbids. So there clearly is two standards here.
He commands things according to his character and his nature. And I'll give you a quick example. I don't want to take up a lot of your time.
Then why does he kill people when one of the most important rules in the Bible is to not kill?
Yeah, he rains hellfire down on people, man.
It's called the double standard. Now, what you could say as a Christian is say, my morality is based on the commandments laid down from God. But if you say it's based on the character of God, you have an inherent problem, because God's character and his commandments do not line up.
No, not at all.
For instance, when we say that it's wrong to steal, and that it's not because it's an arbitrary command of God, it's because we are created in God's image. And we are not to steal because God is not a thief. And if we steal, we're lying about who God is.
Well, God commanded his people to take an entire city and slaughter all the people. And is that not theft and murder?
Well, you see, Hagbard, since God created everything, it's his to give at all times. You're not following. You need to keep up with it.
Oh, apparently, yeah, he wasn't stealing it from the people he was having taken over. He was just giving it to the Israelites, right?
I mean, those dirty Philistines practically took it from him. If you really think about it.
So morality is not something that God commands arbitrarily. It's a reflection of his nature.
No, listen, there's nothing more to the Ten Commandments than it's a way to dictate a societal rule. It's a rule of law. It functions the same way.
And to be fair, some of them were based on, had real applications.
A lot of, to be fair, even I'll give credence that a lot of them, not the first 4 or 5 or however many it was that are all about being, obsessed with God, but don't steal, sure. Don't covet your neighbor's wife. Dude, yeah, people die over that. Dude, people get shot all the time, right now, over that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It's not good for society.
God stole Mary's virginity.
He did. I never thought of that.
It was his to give. You don't understand.
So does that mean that morality, in terms of being absolute, is unchanging throughout time?
That's correct, Paul.
Okay. I find that quite interesting. So, if we have somebody who is, and this is hardwired into the human brain by God as our creator, is that correct?
It's written on our hearts as
Wow, okay, so this guy from England, he sets out that, which is such an obvious trap. Yeah. And Bruggencate, who is such a dumbass, walks into it. So if it's written on our hearts, why does a lot of people not believe in God? Why do people do these in the first place?
Well, again, I ask, why did it have to be written then? Why is there even a Bible? Why are there rules? Why did he have to write a whole book of rules and have people follow them? If these rules are inherent to us and written on our heart.
Oh, he's such an idiot.
I mean, these people are fucking retarded.
I can't believe it. And he's popular. He really is.
Yeah, I believe it. And I bet he's popular in Florida.
Well, you would know about Florida.
Yeah, I bet he's popular in Florida. There's a reason I ran.
He teams up. He does stuff with Eric Hovind all the time, and yeah, they suck.
Lovely.
Correct.
Okay. So morality doesn't change. It's hardwired into us so that everybody, wherever they are born in the world, is in possession of this framework of absolute morality. Is that correct?
That's correct, Paul.
Okay.
And from this, Seitan Bruggencate all the time will extrapolate that means people are without excuse. Like, he even said this after Christopher Hitchens passed away. Something along the lines of, like, Christopher Hitchens, he always knew. He's without excuse. He always knew that there was going to be judgment and an afterlife.
Yeah.
The people who disobey these commands, because in his worldview is written on their hearts, he just assumes that everyone already knows.
Well, that actually goes against the entire teaching of the history of the church, but whatever.
I mean, that's what these new age guys have to do.
Yeah,
They're
I mean, it goes
trying
against
so desperate to keep this relevant.
The history of it was literally, okay, you don't know about God, well, then you get to go to this nether realm that's neither heaven nor hell, and you just kind of hang out because you didn't really do anything.
They cut that shit out a long time ago.
Yeah, you didn't really do anything.
What would happen to an individual psychologically if they acted in contravention of that absolute morality that is hardwired into them?
Paul, I think
would they be aware of it?
Well, I would say that, of course, they would be, because you're one of those people who's doing just that thing. So maybe you can give us the account of what that feels like.
What a great answer. I'll give him credit. That's a great answer. It's like, yeah, well, how does Satan feel inside you, huh? Huh? How does it feel to have a demon inside you? What's it like, huh? You would know you have a demon inside you.
He's got that devilish charm.
You've got a demon inside you. Tell me how you do it, huh? How's it feel? How's it feel to have a demon inside you, huh?
Oh my. How does that sin feel?
Oh, that was it? He just ended it there? What?
That's where it ends. Okay.
Alrighty. Proofthatgodexists.org.
The fact that that's a real website is just an embarrassment, a blight on my species.
Yeah. Less shocking than I'd like to say, but
you know, we're gonna do a couple of the right-wing watch things, and then we're gonna get to the really bad one. So understand, these things we're about to play are horrible, but these are like breathers.
That's frightening.
Oh, yeah, let's do Brian Fisher. Yeah, sure.
You know what's interesting about Harriet Tubman? A couple of things about her that are interesting to me. She carried a small
She's
pistol
black.
Yes, she did. Harriet Tubman and many, many, many other black separatists and just people who understood what was going on advocated to carry a pistol. Sure. If you were running around in this time, I would have carried a pistol too.
Yeah, I think everyone was armed.
Pretty much in this time period. Pretty much everyone had a weapon. Yeah.
On rescue missions. When she was leading, she led about 300 slaves to freedom, breaking the law all the while she was doing it.
That's a bit of an exaggeration, but okay. There weren't 300 and you're only breaking the law till you hit the Union line, but okay.
Okay, so he's talking about this, and you might be thinking, like, how is this at all relevant to anything? They always love to go back in time and like pick up some grandiose theme, and they're going to apply it to the modern day. Just wait.
She was breaking the law all the while she was doing it, and she is a hero because she obeyed a higher law.
Oh, I'm cringing. This is going to go so wrong.
A law that reduced human beings to slavery is an unjust law. She refused to accept it, and she is now an American hero.
I've heard people in your position also say that it's proof that, we should have further gun control because it was a criminal with a gun.
Yeah, and not to mention, he's alluding to some higher law, which in this case is Christianity, which condones slavery, Brian.
Yes. Yeah, it actually has rules for how to treat your slave like so many others did.
Fucking Nimrod.
It actually explains that there's a group of people that are described a certain way in the Bible, and every time that one peoples meet the other, they shall be the first slave. So,
suggesting the same thing for whichever state, and she's not even an elected official. So this is just outright anarchy and disobedience and rebellion. But because everybody recognizes that morally her cause was right, she's a hero.
Time. She's recognized as a hero because her side won.
It's the same. It's really honestly the same thing that we do with characters. Like I was just having a conversation with someone in my personal life about how we've always in the West idealized our bad guys. I mean, we've had fucking Robin Hood, for Christ's sake.
Yes,
I mean, this is a long, long history. Yeah, Grizzly Adams ran out into the woods to evade a murder charge. He's an American hero. Exactly.
Be on our currency, whether that's a good idea or not.
That's just what we do.
He's going to be on our currency. And I'm suggesting the same thing when it comes to the homosexual agenda.
Oh, this has gone off the rails already.
The American hero is going to be the first governor or the first elected official. You think about what's going on in Virginia with these schools being told they have to allow boys, in girls' bathrooms. This is a horrible idea. You got
always the men, always the
juvenile
boys.
males.
Always
got hormones surging through their
now it's young adult males that are going to be rapey. Fantastic.
bodies. You're going to give them access to
So
girls'
basically, it's
shower rooms
ageist
and locker
and
rooms
sexist.
and bathrooms. I mean, that's about the stupidest idea, the most insane idea, the most dangerous idea I've ever heard. But how many schools?
Oh, nobody's going to apply it that way. Nobody would dream of applying it that way, and I think we all know that.
I love this oh so loose connection. So basically, Harriet Tubman is viewed as a hero, while disobeying. She was, committing anarchy, disobeying the law. So therefore, we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard and disobey. It's the same thing the last guy said. These illegal laws.
Well, he forgets that there were actually people who were advocating for the same ideals because of the Bible at some point. Quite literally. They were advocating that we were trying to follow the higher laws of the Bible by keeping our slaves in good time.
Yeah, and they actually have scriptural backing.
Whereas I don't think you do.
Are going to go along with it just because a federal judge says they have to. No, the heroes are going to be those elected officials, those school board officials, those principals that say, no, that's not going to happen on my watch.
Right-wing watch. That was
just
good timing.
Listen to the delusions.
They usually
of
They usually don't make any sense when the right-wing watch thing comes up, but that time it really timed out great.
It's amazing to me. Like, they're heroes. Could we get any more heightened language in here? Such heroes. Wow. Okay, let's do the other right-wing watch. Sure, we've played this guy before.
I have a burden and a calling to get America ready.
It's the cum bucket guy.
Oh, Jesus, no.
By
the way, there's
selling.
a whole, just for the record, there's actually a whole fucking YouTube channel of people that buy this food and prepare it, and it is all inedible mush garbage. It is all
I'm not
just
surprised at all.
fucking, just impossible to eat mush garbage.
do they buy stuff from Glenn Beck too?
They buy all of it. That's their thing. They like prepare survival foods. It's pretty fun.
Oh God, I hope they're getting paid for that shit. That's worse than eating baby food.
Exactly.
Not about having security on our border. It's about being friendly.
I mean, in all, let's be clear about one thing about these. Anytime you see that they include rice, know that they're cheating. Because essentially speaking, once you've dried rice, if you put it in a sealed container that cannot get water into it, I mean absolutely not even air-based water, once you seal it, it'll last forever. The way they used to store rice in Japan is just in buckets. You used to just have a bucket and you just lifted it up and you'd smell it, see if there was any mold. If there wasn't, you could eat the rice. The rice does not go bad. It's already a survival food. It also has almost no goddamn nutritional value, so...
I love how he's going on this rant
saying we need
immigrants.
I'm preparing because the immigrants are going to shut the country down, so you need my survival food.
And they're overlaying it with pictures of the shitty food with the price next to it. Oh.
I don't mind being friendly to the Mexicans who are picking the crops and great bricklayers and they're great people.
The first way you said it was I don't mind made me flinch a little bit, dude. I don't mind the Mexicans. I don't mind the help. They're fine.
Yeah, as long as they're working around the lawn, like, It's amazing. Like, yeah, I'm all for having a serious conversation about, immigration or whatever, or whatever that entails. But I mean, this guy's just a lunatic. Look at him freaking out over this.
Yeah.
But there's criminals coming in. There's terrorists coming in.
They're rapists.
Well, the first part is true. The second part is an exaggeration and an argument for just the problems with having a massive border. I mean, we have a huge border, and it's on two sides. And as the way that, frankly speaking, the way that Canada operates its current immigration laws, I'd be more concerned about them coming through that border.
Yeah, I mean, like, anytime they've said, like, ISIS is going to come through Mexico, it's like, do you think the Mexicans would take kindly to ISIS?
I mean, we're talking about, like, Trudeau. I mean, Trudeau's just like, all right, bring all of the Middle Eastern migrants we can take over here, and we have a very porous southern border with a country you deeply despise. So come on over. Like, what?
Yeah, that should be the wall that Trump's advocating for. Come on.
There's drugs coming that's killing America's kids.
We have one of the lowest overdose rates in the world. But.
And there's no sense going on. Nobody's talking sense hardly at all. And
I concur. I definitely concur.
Yeah, we're watching that.
I'm seeing that.
Their good is being spoken of as evil.
He just seems seems so exhausted there. Poor guy.
he just turns to his buckets like, please give me solace.
Buckets bring me strength.
Oh crap! I misplaced the cum bucket with the secret sauce bucket.
Let's burn this last one.
What do you think that they're seeing this as? Just the first step towards
All right. What was this one?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. This is bad too.
Oh yay, this will be fun.
What do you think that they're seeing this as? Just the first step towards anti-gay legislation? Is it get down that simple for those who are opposed to this law?
Well, that's what they would like to spin it that way. They would like to spin, like I said, this is spiritual warfare.
You've lost me already, bud.
The American Family Association rears their ugly head yet again. Look at this guy.
This is clearly spiritual warfare.
Oh, that haircut. Oh, those eyes. Adham. I can't even focus on the spiritual warfare bullshit. That's like too much to process at this point.
For real.
Satan is not bound by good, for certainly, but basically distorts truth. Okay. And he is a master at that. And I believe the media, Hollywood, they understand what this bill or this new law actually does.
Hollywood.
The Hollywood.
Hollywood knows what this new bill does. Hollywood.
It's not Hollywood, Hagbard. It's the Hollywood.
It's the great cult of the Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood is pulling the strings of what bills get passed.
Wow.
But they are distorting it because that's the only way that Satan plays, and Satan will try to attempt to win is through deceit and deception. So they will continue to do this. You will never see, I don't believe, in the media to pivot and.
Rob says he means the Jews.
And turn back and present this
when he says Hollywood
as it is.
Oh yeah, clearly.
Yeah, good call.
Continue to distort it, and they will continue to say that people, organizations like, or corporations like PayPal, or even people who are musicians, artists like Bruce Springsteen, they have a right to exercise.
Hold up. So you guys, I love this. They're always advocating like free market, free market. Bitch, this is the free market. Those businesses and Bruce Springsteen said, we are boycotting this because we do not agree with what's going on. And they are perfectly entitled to do so.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the alternative solution? Like, force them to do things? It's madness.
Their beliefs and not provide some type of service, but Christians do not have their right to deny service based on their deeply held beliefs. So it's basically it's almost insanity or hypocrisy that we're seeing here in Mississippi and also
I love
in
how it always comes down to Christians. Like, is this bill affecting churches?
No.
No. We don't care. You guys can do whatever the fuck you want. We're not even forcing you to gay marry.
As a matter of fact, it's not even as widespread as that. It's actually that they're enforcing the concept that it has to be done on only a governmental level. No one's saying any private. No one's saying it's almost the same as a lot of states even did with like mostly in the northeast of the country, because there are historical buildings there. There are actually historical buildings there. Whereas in other places there's really no excuse. But in places in the northeast that they only passed the access laws, the handicap access laws, for people that had governmental buildings. Otherwise, or public service, I think places like hospitals. Even if you're a private hospital, you had to be admissible, obviously. But that's hospital. That's a whole different issue. But
yeah, I don't see how they could oppose this on any level. The businesses, the government buildings should have this like unified sense of like, this is what we do because we're the government. Like,
yeah. Well, they don't understand that some of this is ease of use too. Some of this is not wanting to deal with the fucking garbage. Yeah, basically.
North Carolina.
Okay. Well, fuck that guy. Okay, we've been putting it off long enough, and it has come to this. And I'm sorry, Hagbard, but we are going to do the dangerous myth of violent Muslim radicalization.
Oh, yeah.
This is the AJ Plus video that's been making the rounds.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. I wish I hadn't.
Well, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to watch it again. I fucking hate AJ Plus. Can we go back to Right Wing Watch?
Yeah, there's somehow anything that we deal with from Right Wing Watch is somehow easier than anything we deal with from AJ Plus.
At least people who are generally featured on Right Wing Watch don't do these poppy videos where they like, hey, YouTube.
At least she has a multicultural pillow collection.
Oh, I see. Look how this shot is set up.
Yeah. Wow, 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 wow.
I'm old enough to remember.
Oh, here we go.
No, thank
when the word radical was surfer bro lingo and not used to characterize any Muslim committing a violent crime.
When was that? Really, when was that?
Radical, it used to be like gnarly, dude. It used to be like surfer bro.
No. That trickled down from radical left in America, for the record. That trickled down from people that were bombing ROTC buildings to being something that the cool leftover hippie-style guys that were on the beaches of California continued to use as a compliment. Dude, you're totally radical. That still had the same connotation, you bent.
Yeah, it never started out as a positive word. Like we did that to a lot of words. We did that to like wicked and sick. Like these started out as bad terms, and then people appropriated them and made them more positive. But I love this characterization too. Like it's only used to describe Muslims.
And it's used to describe anyone that acts in that manner. It's not Muslim specific as much as you may want us to pretend it is.
It's used to describe radicals. There just happen to be a lot of Muslim radicals.
Correct.
When we used to talk about radicals, we meant these guys.
Yeah, we can talk about some of the downsides from both Martin Luther King and Malcolm X if you'd like. I mean, we can. We can talk about the still sealed FBI files on Malcolm X that his wife said would ruin him. Or, on MLK. His wife said straight out, "We're sealing these files because it would ruin the whole movement." So yeah, let's not get into that.
And now
he was Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, and sometimes we're afraid that includes all of them too. But
well, sometimes they give us cause to be nervous that it's all them. I mean, to be fair, when they see a report that the attacks in Paris happened and they're dancing in the streets shooting AK-47s in the air, I think I have the right to be disturbed.
Isn't this the woman who said that she didn't condemn ISIS? I think it was this woman from AJ Plus. But AJ Plus and Al Jazeera in general have done stuff like that too. That's just like, it's just really alarming. Like, how dare you expect me to condemn ISIS just because we share an identity? It's like, whoa, okay, I see what game we're playing.
What makes a radical today anyway? Well, here's the biggest open secret about radicalization. It doesn't exist.
So it's just Muslims then?
Yeah, it's just the way they are. It's interesting.
I guess we should just take that stance. It seems like the safest and only logical conclusion to come to from here, right?
Oh, get off this close-up.
Whoa, Sana, you can't say that. What? You can't just say that radicalization doesn't exist. Hello. What about all those people who are threatening the democratic bedrock of our country and freedom? The GOP presidential candidates?
Ching.
No, these guys.
No, those guys are nobodies. We all recognize that. They're a symptom, not the disease.
Yeah, those guys, like,
they're a symptom.
If anything, they're like kind of just outliers who fizzled out of existence. Like, the real problem is the imams.
These guys are the lesions that appear towards the tail end of dying of AIDS. These guys are not AIDS. These guys are the lesions. They're the parts we get to see.
We are Legion.
According to Wikipedia, where we get all our 101 information anyway, let's be real.
Okay, well, at least you're admitting that's where you get all of your information.
Did you at least check the sources?
Yeah.
Did you at least check the citations?
For fuck's sake. I mean, at very least, even if you're going to cheat and use Wikipedia, be smart and go just to the parts that are cited and then go to the actual documents they're citing. That's the smart way to do this. I mean, don't fucking cite Wikipedia.
Radicalization is the process by which an individual comes to have...
Look how she's just downplaying it with the blah, 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 blah in the background.
You know,
that you may as well
put
on the screen. Don't listen.
Yeah, that's just, you know, Western imperialist propaganda. AJ Plus did the exact same thing with the word terrorist. They read the definition of terrorist in the same just kind of like dead inside way.
Yeah.
Basically, like, yeah, this is whatever, guys. It doesn't mean anything. It's just because if a term gets used too much, apparently it doesn't mean anything.
Extreme political, social, or religious beliefs that are anti-status quo. But when we talk about radicalization, we don't mean these guys.
Well, that's because they didn't have any ideologies. One of them arguably had white supremacist ideologies, but if I remember correctly, one of those guys is just a fucking schizophrenic. Yeah, this gentleman here is a schizophrenic. I have no idea who this weird-looking dude is, but I'm sure he's got all kinds of fucking problems. Look at the eyes.
Look at that guy.
Look at the lunacy you had to... And who's this? Is that Timothy McVeigh?
Yeah, it is.
Did you have to go all the way back to Timothy McVeigh? You know that
the
ones you used for
they put him up with these guys?
Yeah, the one you used with the Muslim examples were all from like the last 2 years. Do you not see that there's already a huge difference there?
Yeah, I mean, like, just look at these fucking guys. These guys are all out of their mind. At least the Aurora guy and the Connecticut kid.
Yeah.
For sure, them.
We mean Muslims. No one asked, where was he radicalized when a white dude goes on a shooting spree in a school or theater? White men have been responsible for 64% of mass shootings in this country since 1982.
Oh my god, a country that's primarily white, you fucking dipshit.
Yeah, well, and ignoring the fact that that's still disproportionately high for non-whites, but okay.
Oh yeah, they don't want to acknowledge that. Like, where's
especially if you start in 84 when it started dropping from 90 some odd %.
Yeah, that happened as well. I love this too. Like, yeah, they're never going to be like, oh, you know, Muslims make up less than 1% of the country, but they commit like what? Like, it's somewhere around like 15 to 20%.
Yeah.
Of terrorism in the country. Like, that's absurd.
Yep.
That's crazy. They're never going to address that.
But we're not allowed to talk about that.
And they get the privilege of being lone wolf shooters.
It's not a privilege; it's a fact.
That's an actual lone wolf shooter. You couldn't even have put up Dylan Roof. You could argue Dylan Roof was quote unquote radicalized by the website Stormfront. Fine, I'll let you argue that. That's fine. You get one. This guy had no backing. This was a fucking lunatic. This was an actual schizoid who thought he was going to be the Joker.
Yeah, and even there's like a couple, like the Columbine kids were like 2 of them, but look at me, I'm like having to reach back to all the way to them. It's crazy. These guys, yeah, they did this. Most of them did it just because they were crazy. They didn't have any other motivation beyond that.
Apparently, the statistics are even worse. They've committed
really?
45 attacks since 9/11. The right wing's done 48. So,
that's
it's
absurd.
About 50-50. Close enough to be, within the margin of error.
And here's the part where someone might accuse us like, oh, so I see you don't really care about right wing terrorism. It's like, yeah, I actually do. All of these attacks, all of these white guys.
No, I'm not even going to defend myself. We just finished 3 right wing watch videos. Anyone saying that's retarded?
Yeah, like
I'm not
these
gonna defend
guys,
myself on that
they
point.
have been thoroughly condemned. We don't advocate. People propose methods to make it harder for them to do things like this again.
Exactly. And as a matter of fact, you guys will even use the excuse that the government says that the greatest threat right now is right wing against governmental terrorism, as though that were an argument. No, as though that were an actual argument against your point. Instead of just being like, yeah, but they've still committed almost as many crimes as them, and they're being ignored. Do you not understand the problem there? Like you're not acknowledging an issue by saying that this issue is already being acknowledged. That's retarded.
Yeah, we'll address that when we get to it.
Or mentally ill shooters, or alienated and adrift shooters.
Again, you've confused some of those. You actually probably could have made a better case by matching pictures with different definitions for their actions.
I mean, yeah, I can think of very clear-cut examples. The Young Turks said that the Fort Hood shooter was mentally ill. That happened.
Yeah.
And they just so they showed the kid from Connecticut. That motherfucker was mentally ill. And Dylan Roof alienated, sure. Does this look like a guy who's had a bunch of friends? That probably played a part in why he was so pushed over the edge. Because he was a social outcast.
There's not much talk about how even the U.S. government has said that the real domestic threat to national security are right-wing anti-government groups. And the president...
Yeah, exactly. So they've acknowledged that. But they'll ignore the fact that there's the same amount of Islamic terrorism going on in this country with almost none of the population.
It just says look it up. There's no citation provided, which is interesting. Yeah. And I mean, like we've talked about anarchists on the show. These guys are pussies. All these guys who are like, oh my god, government's big brother coming down on us. Are these guys gonna do shit?
Well, and the right wing people she's talking about they're militia members. I mean, there are rising militias in this country, but it's because of things like this.
Sure, but I mean, like, are they militias in the same way the Bundys were a militia? Yeah. Like, they don't actually do shit.
Yeah, they traditionally have very little actual conflict. It's a lot of saber waving, but that's the point of the Second Amendment.
It's a lot of bark and no bite. Like, again, these guys, they're pussies. They're not going to do shit.
The whole point of the Second Amendment.
It's not like some radicalized Muslim who's willing to die for their faith. These right-wing guys don't have near the same level of conviction.
No, well, like I said, they're saber rattling. That's what the Second Amendment's really for. It's try me. It's I feel strongly enough about this that essentially speaking, I may make you shoot me. Are you prepared to do that? That's the whole purpose.
Sure.
I mean, that's really the whole purpose. It's very rarely come to blows. Very rarely. And when it hasn't worked out for the people standing up. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no.
Let's look at Waco.
Then isn't telling white people that there hasn't been enough pushback against extremism in their communities. Wow, the comment section is hella gonna call you racist for that.
Well, yeah, because Muslim and white are two different definitions for humans.
Yeah, she explicitly brought up race. No one else did.
Yes, they also like to presume that all right-wing movements are full of all white people, which is kind of funny. Where I'm from, the vast majority of the right wing is made up of transplanted Hispanics from the islands.
Yep.
They're not
Hispanics.
big. Yeah.
There are quite a few Hispanic. This is really bad too. This level of comedy, like fourth wall breaking, like, oh, I know what you guys are gonna say. Well, it's like, if you know what we're gonna say, how about you say something different? Don't say something so stupid that's gonna be this easy to pick apart.
Yeah, novel concept to actually think your points out beyond just this first step where you're like, well, it's not, so there.
And there's
There was no answer. There was no answer.
Wow.
It was just that face that was complete rejection of the concept.
set criteria for what the process of radicalization even looks like, or what a radical actually is. With the Boston bombers, we obsessed over Tamerlan Tsarnaev's YouTube history. With the Paris attackers, we obsessed over gay bars, alcohol, implied promiscuity.
Oh, no. You guys obsessed over that to defend their faith. You were saying because they did all these things that they were not real Muslims. That was you. You obsessed on these, not us. We said, nope, Muslims. Yep, Muslims again. Yep, Muslims again. That's what we were saying.
It's a known logical fallacy to do that. I can't believe. Yeah, they've done it every time. Yeah,
And with San Bernardino, Sayyid Rizwan Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, we obsessed over Malik becoming more and more religious. So
only one of those was religiously obsessed, huh?
Interesting. They have to throw in one every now and then, so we don't catch on to the agenda.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked out.
Radicalization being religious or not? Is it having anti-U.S. foreign policy views? Is it being isolated from society?
Okay,
in the U.S., you can't be.
Wait, she knows what it is. She already read a fucking definition for it in the beginning of this, and then she obfuscated the definition and said, "Well, now I'm confused because I'm stupid."
I mean, like, if someone has enough umbrage with the U.S.'s foreign policy decisions that they commit acts of violence, yeah, that person's a radical. That person will be punished or probably killed because of that. At the same time, though, I mean, that's not the motivation. For the most part, you can't, especially in most of these recent cases, like we were talking about the Brussels attacks, like, there's no political agenda that you could possibly use to justify that.
Exactly.
Because Belgium doesn't do shit.
Yeah, their foreign policy has been so fucking awful, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, Belgium, the country historically known for letting the Nazis walk through.
Yeah.
Even if your views are extreme and really gross, except in very specific, hard-to-prove cases.
It's not hard to prove a call to violence. It's very simple. It's very, very simple to prove that it was a call to violence.
That's such... is that her attempted definition, if it's extreme and gross?
Well, she's saying that criticizing her religion is extreme and gross.
Oh, well then fuck her.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Constitution protects your right to be a Nazi, to say anti-black crap. It even protects your right to advocate for consensual love between a grown man and a child.
It also allows you to be a Muslim.
Yeah, I don't see what Islam would have a problem with that then. That lines right up with Islam. All of that lines right up with Islam. All of it. Being a Nazi, yeah, Islam loved the Nazis. Yeah. Uh-huh. Advocating against black people. Yeah, they hate black people, believe it or not. Believe it or not, the people on especially the larger continental regions, they hate black people. And they're totally for man-boy love. As a matter of fact, in Pakistan, it's one of the #1 things the truck drivers engage in. They fuck boys. Good Muslim Paki cab drivers fuck little boys. And they say that it's because they're not yet men. They don't have pubic hair, so they're not men. And you can't fuck little girls because that's haram. So...
Ooh, it's a little gray area.
Just saying, they get
Something
to fuck prepubescent. Yeah,
didn't examine.
They didn't know you were going to be allowed to fuck prepubescent boys.
Because views aren't actions. Actions can be criminal, but views, nope. And continuing to talk about radicalization without any set criteria and targeting only Muslims when we talk about radicalization makes anything and everything that Muslims do suspect.
No, it makes the obvious actions fairly suspect, though.
I just love how convoluted we've gotten to this point. So it's basically, it's our fault because we're specifically targeting Muslims, which isn't even true. I mean, you could probably make a case that all those white guys they showed before are radicals, I guess, if you want to call them that. It'd probably be more apt to call them gunmen or shooters, but whatever. I guess if you want to call them radicals, that's fine. However, the numbers do not work out in your favor, is the point.
Nope.
And, like, look at this. Like, oh, they might be suspect of the actions of Muslims. I am very suspicious of these actions, especially if they involve, imams making calls to violence, increased radicalization. This is a huge problem within your community, and instead you're attributing all the problems to the outside instead of taking some goddamn responsibility. It's embarrassing.
No, exactly.
So you get programs like CVE, you get surveillance in mosques, homes, businesses, you get...
Yeah, I've seen what the actual end result of that surveillance in mosques has been. I'm all for it. I'm 100% in surveillance in mosques. Sure. When you're yielding results of extremist fucking preachers preaching to congregations of tens of thousands to take down the fucking environment they live in, I'm all for it. I don't see a problem.
Yeah, and I mean we've even talked about they do this to all groups. They do this to Christian churches too.
Yeah.
They do this to political movements because it's for public safety.
Yeah. If you think the FBI is not part of every little bitty group out there, then you don't understand how much money we put into it.
I bet they even have informants at Westboro, despite how small they are.
Sure they do. Sure. At very least, they have one of the kids talking to someone who they think is one of their peers.
15,000 informants nationwide, and you get a community that has some serious trust issues. And then we get shocked that we have presidential candidates openly calling for patrols in Muslim neighborhoods, for banning
Well, that was just top keck, to be fair. That was hilarious when he said that. We need to patrol Muslim neighborhoods. It's like, well, have you seen Europe? I mean, if these neighborhoods are literally only Muslims, I would advise we do have police roll through there every once in a while to make sure some shit's not going off. I mean, mostly it's just the beating their wives in the street I'd like to see minimized.
There is that. I mean, like, that's funny to me, too, because...
Anders says the KKK is 99% FBI right now. Yeah, probably. It's an FBI spying on Homeland Security, spying on a CIA representative, yeah.
There's like one legit guy.
Yeah, there's one racist. Yeah, there's one legit racist left in the KKK. Everyone else is just, scattered to Stormfront.
That's awesome.
Muslims from the country and issuing special IDs to Muslims. Why do you say that like it's a bad thing? So maybe it's time...
Get it? Because there's going to be someone who won't understand.
The level of comedy is just nosedived at this point. I haven't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of like the last bit of comedy that we saw that was this bad, and I can't. I'm all out of ideas.
To rethink the poorly defined language that we use and how that poorly defined language creates programs, policies, and dangerous misunderstandings.
It's not poorly defined.
Yeah.
It's poorly understood by your dumbass.
Yeah, you're the only one who's having trouble with this definition, dear. Everyone else knows what we mean when we say radicalized. We all know what that would look like. As a matter of fact, most of us have the intellectual capability to imagine having been radicalized and how you could potentially be radicalized, which is why we are trying not to be radicals. That's why especially in this movement, are trying to be non-radical.
Sure. This is just the definition of semantics. This really is. This is such a limp-dicked argument. Basically, like, I oppose a group that I identify with being identified by a bad word because I don't understand that word. That word seems a little out of date. We use that word to describe these people, but not these people. Yeah, it's probably because it actually describes those people. It describes that group, but it doesn't describe this group.
Yeah, God forbid we use accurate descriptors of reality, right?
No, everything needs to be equal. Either no one's a radical or everyone is.
Effect on the lives of millions in this country. How's that for a radical idea?
Pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's terrible. So we're doing pretty good on time. We could probably do one more.
Fair
if
enough.
You'd like.
Yeah, we'll squeeze it in under 2 hours then.
Yeah, we're doing good. I'm trying to think what would be good. Fuck it, we're gonna do Kyle. Let's do Kyle.
That?
Yeah, it's up top.
Brace.
Yeah. Wait, no.
Not this one?
Yeah, not that guy.
Oh,
Is that
you
guy
meant-
named Kyle too?
I think so. I could be wrong though. You meant Kyle.
We'll save
Clancy.
that.
You meant
Yeah, we're gonna
this
do Kyle.
gentleman.
Ben Norton of Salon did some incredible reporting
shut up, bro.
on.
Shut up, Kyle.
All right, there we go.
Oh, so apparently the AJ Plus video finally has more dislikes than likes.
Good.
I'll leave a link to it. Yeah, people, go dislike that fucking piece of shit.
For real.
Ben Norton of Salon did some incredible reporting.
Salon, incredible reporting. I'm already dying.
Oh,
Holy
come
shit.
on, Kyle. Like we were defending you last show.
Yeah,
Come
I'm
on.
already laughing my ass off. Did he just say Salon had good reporting in it ever?
It wasn't just good, it was incredible.
Wow. All right, bud. You better be prepared to defend your clam.
On a new initiative for Israel in Congress. He explains here, the U.S. gives more than
Oh, shit. The picture of Netanyahu popping on the screen. Fuck.
This is a great picture. Just
Wow.
like dead stare.
Wow.
$3 billion in unconditional military aid to Israel every single year, more than any other country receives by far. In fact, more than half of U.S. foreign military financing goes to
I love this
Israel.
argument too. It's the same argument we were just fucking talking about. Basically, it's like we need to divvy out this money equally. It's like, well, there's an unequal need for the money in Israel because they are actually under attack constantly.
Yeah.
They need this money more than like fucking Greenland does.
Yeah, it's an absurd notion.
Oh, Kyle,
A country
come on.
roughly the size of New Jersey. The vast majority of the Senate, however, thinks $3.1 billion per year isn't enough. Isn't that lovely? So he continues here. More than
All right, go on.
4/5 of the U.S. Senate signed a letter pressuring President Obama to boost military aid to Israel, Reuters reported Monday. A whopping 83 of the 100 senators signed the letter, including 51 of the 54 Republicans.
Do you know that's because they're a launch pad? We're essentially bribing them. I'll admit that. We're essentially bribing them. They're a launch pad. If shit goes bad in the world in the next 25 years, they're going to be our Air Force base.
Sure.
It's nothing more
they
and
are
nothing less.
coveted. The coveted one ally we have there.
That's even remotely sane.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
even
we
I'll
can't- we
admit,
can't rely on
not
these other
everything, not
motherfuckers.
everything Israel does is right and true. Not everything they do should be done. However, on the list of crazy, we're choosing the best candidate. It sadly is the same with Saudi Arabia for now, although I advocate even more for separatism from them than I would from Israel.
Like, I don't want to be this guy because this sounds, I don't know, it sounds like I'm pointing fingers and almost conspiratorial, but it really does raise an eyebrow for me when these people spend so much time. They criticize Israel all the time, but they do not levy the same criticism against the surrounding countries, which are objectively worse.
Yeah, they're
It's
clearly
always-
worse.
Like, that's just madness. Israel is like the oasis in this shithole.
Exactly, and they want to ignore that. They want to ignore the fact that, I mean, even just the countries surrounding it are so much worse.
And it does flirt with anti-Semitism. I have to say it. It really does. It really makes me go, I don't know, guys. Why are we bringing up the Jews again?
Well, for some
Why are we
reason,
doing
for some
this?
reason, they want to compare it. They want to compare it for some reason with the countries surrounding them and be like, well, Israel's doing better, so Israel must be worse. It's the progressive.
course.
They're applying the progressive stack on an international level, which is kind of interesting.
I mean, we've talked about this, how Israel has an army, so that kind of takes them out of that game.
Exactly.
But at the same time, from looking at it from a numbers standpoint, like, Jews are the minority. They should be at the top of the progressive stack. But it's because they have
Exactly.
money and a military that people on this regressive left don't give a shit. Wow.
That's 94%. And 32 of the 44 Democrats. That's 73%. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, one of the Senate's 2 independents, did not sign the letter. The Israeli government wants $4 billion to $4.5 billion, yet some U.S. officials have proposed just $3.7 billion. And finally, he says here, since 1967, the U.S. has given...
Is this a report? So far, you've literally just listed the amounts of money that we've given in foreign aid to this country. I mean, are you going to talk about the amount of money we've given foreign aid to Nigeria, too?
Is he going to talk about the amount of foreign aid that Israel gives to the Palestinians?
No.
Okay, wonderful. He gets to his actual opinion here in a bit.
Well over $100 billion to Israel in
$100 billion
dollars.
Unconditional military aid. And this is not considering other forms of aid, both tangible in the form of trade deals and subsidies, and intangible in the form of diplomatic support and scores of unilateral U.S. vetoes of UN Security Council resolutions that criticized Israel's illegal activity.
It's like the illegal laws.
And someone asked earlier why he has 2 microphones. The microphone in front of him is for recording purposes. The microphone in his ear is for talking to the booth. That's for talking to whoever's doing the production side of things.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I love the bewilderment from Kyle here. And
yeah,
for people wondering, like, I don't hate Kyle. I think that he's fine and usually harmless. But yeah, no shit. We give aid to an ally.
Yeah.
Like, are we really at the point that we have to explain why that happens?
Yeah,
it's such a no-brainer.
Apparently we do. We have to explain why we give even just random third world nations money now, I guess. We'd have to describe that, but they're not going to get into that because that's just giving foreign aid. When you're giving foreign aid to, someone who he doesn't like, it's a problem.
Or even, like, in his mind, I see it almost like, oh, they're this industrialized country. Why can't they just help themselves? Why do they need our help?
Yeah, well, if you just let them do the settlements, they'd industrialize a lot faster. I mean, let's just be clear. That's what these evil settlements that they're fighting against are doing. They're trying to build farms, for fuck's sake. Productive arable land is being wasted, so,
More farms for Israel.
Yeah, he wants us to ship them buckets of rice.
Okay, so here we are. We have the Democrats and the Republicans, by and large, agreeing on one thing. Give Israel anything they want. $3 billion a year just given to them by you.
Let me explain something to you. On governmental terms, $3 billion is pocket change. We spend that on an airplane, dog. There are airplanes that cost $2.85 billion, man. The F-22 fighter costs like $2 billion. What the fuck is your point? That doesn't mean anything to us.
Yeah, I mean, like, we waste money all the fucking time because the government's run shittily.
Yeah,
however, it's amazing to me that he's taken the opportunity to only point out the money that's being given, money that's actually being well spent for Israeli defense forces. Like what do you think's going to happen if we stop giving them aid?
Yeah.
Do you think things are just going to work out?
And if he were arguing this from a national debt angle, we would have a discussion to be had. But he's not. He's arguing this from an ideological position angle. He would never argue we cut aid to any country that needed it, quote unquote, worse than Israel. Countries like Nigeria or Ethiopia or the places we also do huge amounts of foreign aid.
Yeah, like I don't take that seriously. Like, we're in debt. Like, what country's not in debt? Our economy's still going. Yeah, and has the country like completely collapsed as soon as we went under the 0 mark? Like, really? We're fine. We're gonna be fine. It's not like the U.S. is just China's gonna come by. Okay, guys, we want our money now. Like, no, they owe people money too.
U.S. taxpayers, not enough. Give them more. Okay, let's think about what's happening here in our own country. Oh, I don't know. the fucking water in Flint, Michigan is undrinkable. And it's actually not just there. There's multiple places around the country where, because of fracking, the water is poisoned. We also have
fracking, huh?
These are unrelated issues. You're just bringing up other issues and saying, why aren't we spending more money there? Well, that's fine. We could work that out. But it has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of money we give Israel. These are two entirely different budgetary requirements.
I love the one-track mind. Like, we can't solve more than one issue at the same time. And, like, okay, what issue seems more pressing to you? Okay, yeah, some undrinkable water versus being, like, assaulted on all sides by people who want to kill you.
Yeah.
Who do you think needs the money more, Kyle?
Yeah. Clearly, I mean, I'm for fixing infrastructure. I'm actually for bottom lining and using the government as a hire of last resort and using that money to, raise out some of the more, I mean, we've got the whole Appalachian regions falling apart. The inner cities are fucking without work. We could pull these people in, fix our crumbling infrastructure. I'm for that.
Sure.
I am. I'm all for that. But it has nothing to do with it. Nothing.
I mean, that's when the
with
straw man would be used. Like, so you're saying you don't want to help the infrastructure? You don't want to help this country? You don't want to rebuild the roads and bridges? It's like, yeah, we have enough. Hagbard, you were just saying we spend $3 billion on a plane that we probably we're not even going to use.
No, but if China ever tries something, it's desperately scared of it.
I would hope so.
The best they can field are MiG-25 Fulcrums or MiG-27 Fulcrums, and those fuckers are designed in 1972. They're a joke.
Fuck the Chinese.
Yeah.
And bridges falling down? I mean, according to the civil society...
All right, yep. That's enough of you, Kyle.
You're tapping out. No more.
That's
Can't
enough of
stand
you,
him.
Kyle. Fuck me. Talk about having nothing to say. I mean, in all seriousness, just...
I mean, that's the definition of, like, he brings up a topic and then he doesn't even really address it further than that.
No, not even a little bit.
Well, I hear you guys talking about these Israeli problems. Let me tell you about Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, so there's one issue going on here that has to do with foreign relations, international relations, and especially with our military. And we're gonna have giving these people money for that reason, and we're gonna pretend like that has anything to do with our infrastructure.
He's just insane.
It does not.
It really is, especially on this issue. So I don't know. What did you want to do, Hagbard? Do you want to end it there?
Yeah, we'll wrap and save these for tomorrow. We've got another show then too. So.
Yeah, sure. So people, again, just a reminder. The show tomorrow is at 11 a.m., starting at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and we will have Tyler Preston on.
We will indeed.
So that should be fun. And thank you, everyone, so much for watching the show. Leave a like, I guess, or whatever. Subscribe, all that shit, whatever. Go dislike. Actually, don't like our video. Go dislike the AJ Plus video.
No shit.
Go speak out. Express yourself. Express your. Okay.
Oh no! Don't.
We're gonna end the show before this turns into a musical.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Hagbard, for running the show like a pro. It's always fun.
Semi-pro.
Pro. All right. See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, guys. Catch you later.
Peace.